Here at home this evening, another breaking headline involving the suspected serial killer terrorizing an American city. Police are right now questioning a man. Could he be the suspected killer they have been looking for months?
51 days, a Tampa neighborhood has been living in fear of a serial killer. 4 people were shot at random while walking outside this morning. Police say they have arrested the suspect, but so far they have no motive, and they say the suspect has no connection to the Seminole Heights neighborhood.
That large police presence at the McDonald's in Ybor City. Action Air 1 here flying over the scene right now just off I-4. And the question on everyone's minds tonight, is this connected to the Seminole Heights murders? Police are investigating that possibility right now.
Tonight, police say they're questioning this man who could be connected to a string of murders in a Tampa neighborhood. Officers responding to a tip about someone with a gun at a local McDonald's.
We confronted the person who had the gun. We now have them. We are interviewing them to see what they can tell us about this gun that they have.
It all started when a co-worker at a local McDonald's alerted a police officer who happened to be inside at the time, telling them that Howell Donaldson III had a gun on him. From there, they brought him in for questioning, tracking his cell phone, learning that it was near the location of all 4 murders within minutes of each killing. 4 people gunned down in the same neighborhood in the same manner, walking around alone at night or early
Ryan
morning.
Smith was the first reporter at the scene, and Ryan, in the last half hour, Tampa's police chief saying he's optimistic the person they are now questioning could be related to the 4 unsolved murders in Seminole Heights.
Police investigators, Laura, revealing to us just a few minutes ago that all of this heavy police presence stemming from a tip that was sent in to police investigators about a man with a gun inside this Ybor City McDonald's. I want to zoom in and show you the scene and show you that this person's car, a red Mustang, remains taped off this tonight, the first to be taped off in the entire parking lot. The police chief, Brian Dugan, telling us just moments ago that they have very limited information at this time, but says he is, quote, as you said, optimistic that the gun involved that they recovered might be connected to the string of Seminole Heights
Police
homicides.
say they've gotten more than 5,000 tips, but tonight they say they're hopeful they could have a break in the case.
I'm guarded on the whole thing, but I'm very optimistic, and we'll see. It's going to be a long night.
Earlier, police had identified this man as their suspect, seen on surveillance moments before the latest victim was gunned down on November 14th. They believe he's the same man spotted on multiple cameras near the scene of the first murder. All 4 victims walking alone, killed at night or early morning, just blocks apart, shot at
Donaldson
random.
will now face 4 counts of first-degree murder. He told police that he has no affiliation with the Seminole Heights neighborhood, and he has not admitted to the murders. There's still no word on a motive here, but for the people in the Seminole Heights neighborhood who have been living in fear for nearly 2 months now, this is a
We want to
huge
show you
relief.
some exclusive video. As we were the first crew out here this afternoon, we saw detectives questioning that man inside a police unit. This all happening around 3:45. We are concealing the man's identity until we know for sure whether he has been charged with a crime. The police chief moving forward with extreme caution when it comes to releasing information about this person. We do know right now that he went to TPD headquarters downtown to be questioned, but again, the chief stressing tonight that he is not under arrest. And back out here live, this has drawn such an interest. Dozens and dozens of people have come out here taking it all in, many hoping that this is it, many hoping that they can turn the page on this investigation, hoping that this killer is caught. But again, the chief stressing that this person is not under arrest. He is simply a person of interest tonight, and the connection to that gun. The chief also taking a moment this afternoon to remind the people of Seminole Heights that they will continue with the heavy police presence patrolling
For weeks,
the neighborhood.
this community has been living in fear.
Hey guys.
Police doing nightly patrols. After the last shooting, the FBI going door to door.
FBI!
Seen here on this doorbell camera. Residents urged to stay inside while teams hunted for the killer they believed could be hiding out in their own neighborhood. Many arming themselves for their protection.
And Victor Akendo with us live tonight from Florida on the case from the start. Victor, police now examining that gun tonight?
That's right, David. The chief of police saying that they have a gun, but they haven't determined if it's connected to the murders, saying that this man could be completely innocent. So for now, they're keeping up their nightly patrols.
Florida's governor and investigators just wrapped up a news conference. They say the same gun was used in all 4 murders, a gun that was purchased legally by Donaldson. Tampa's mayor is already calling for the death penalty.
It is day 1 of healing. That's what Tampa's police chief said in a news conference today. He says this is the man, 24-year-old Howell Donaldson III, who killed 4 people in Seminole Heights. He was taken into custody yesterday at the McDonald's on East 13th Avenue in Ybor, right off of I-4. That is just a mile and a half from Southeast Seminole Heights, where the 4 people were murdered. As soon as word spread that an arrest was made, a crowd gathered in the parking lot of the McDonald's where the suspect's car was parked. That car was later towed. This morning, Governor Scott and Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn thanked the Tampa Police Department and law enforcement for the efforts leading to the arrest.
Today is a good day. Today, the good guys won. Today, Seminole Heights can sleep. Today, there are 4 families who will never repair the damage and never repair the fact that their heart was ripped from their chest, but they are starting to get closure now. Today, we begin the healing process.
Mayor Buckhorn and Tampa Police Chief Brian Dugan held another news conference this morning. 10 News reporter Josh Shadorowicz was there. And Josh, investigators sounded very confident that there is no doubt in their mind they have the right suspect.
Allison, extremely confident. In fact, 100% certain was the words that Tampa Police Chief Brian Dugan used today when asked by reporters at that press conference to offer some reassurance about how confident they were that they had the right guy, the suspect, Howell Donaldson III. What remains uncertain, though, a motive in this case. The chief saying that while Donaldson has been extremely cooperative so far in answering investigators' questions, he has not given any indication whatsoever as to what might have motivated him to commit these crimes, these 4 murders that he is now accused of. Also, interestingly enough, while he did confess that that gun that was handed off to a manager at McDonald's that then prompted the call to police, he did confess that that gun belonged to him. He has not confessed to committing these murders. Take a look. This is video from just about an hour or so ago where we saw relatives of some of the victims, including Monica Hoffa's uncle, Anthony DeBoa's father. They were standing there behind the chief and mayor as they updated the media here. The chief reiterating just how crucial, again, that tip from that McDonald's manager was yesterday. Because police, though, they didn't really understand why Donaldson might have trusted that manager with the gun. They said it did not appear that he was trying to turn himself in, though. However, had he not done that, police said Donaldson was not on their radar until that tip came in yesterday. Also, because they now know where that gun came from and who it belongs to, up until now, police had also never publicly revealed that they believed and knew that the same gun had been used in all 4 murders. So getting that confession was big. Emerald Moore will have more on that in just a moment. But we also asked police if they believed that he was responsible for any other unsolved murders in the area because of what had been stated in the past. Listen to what the chief said.
We will be reviewing all of the unsolved crimes that we have, and we will be in touch with whatever jurisdiction he's lived in prior and tell them what we have. You know, I have no reason to believe at this point that he's involved in anything else, but, you know, we have to take a look at everything, which we've been doing, but we need to make sure wherever he's lived in the past that we let them know.
So back here live, what is the evidence that police believe they've got him on? Well, for one, that gun. Also, they said that they found clothing in the back of his red Mustang in that McDonald's parking lot. They said it's clothing that was very similar to what we saw on the person of interest that was in those surveillance pictures. They said there was blood on some of that clothing as well. They also said that they were able to track his cell phone and pinpoint him in the areas of the murders at the time of the murders. But as for why in Seminole Heights, why that neighborhood, police for so long had thought that he must have some kind of connection, some kind of previous history with that neighborhood. They say they don't believe that to be the case at this point, but the mayor making a very bold statement when ending today, saying that if this man is found guilty, he deserves to die.
You know, 51 days ago, I said this was a struggle between good and evil. Well, tonight, goodness has won. Tonight, in the battle between darkness and light, light has won. It would not have happened without the amazing police work and the amazing partnership of the people that you see behind me, of the hundreds of men and women of the Tampa Police Department that have been on this case for 51 days. They put their lives on the sidelines, they put their normal jobs on the sidelines, and they focused on one thing, and that was to catch a killer. I cannot tell you how proud I am of them. I cannot tell you how proud I am of the partnership that we have with our fellow law enforcement agencies. I can't tell you, and and I know I speak for the people of Seminole Heights, who stood up with us shoulder to shoulder, who never left during the tough times, who never quit on us, nor did they ever quit on the men and women of law enforcement. They had our backs and we had theirs. We could not have done this without their support and the support of this entire community. Tonight is the beginning of when justice will be served. And then the process will occur when this individual rots in hell. TPD did their job. The troopers did their job. FDLE did their job. The FBI did their job. Seminole Heights did their job. And tonight, we're bringing someone to justice who doesn't deserve the right to walk amongst us. These folks deserve the credit. Now, let's go bring justice to the families that are here today.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Judge Taylor. I'll be going over everybody's cases with them. If you've got a bond and it's a standard bond, it's unlikely I'm going to change it much. If you don't have a bond and you're entitled to bond, I will set one. And if you've picked up new charges while you're out on an existing bond, it's likely I'm going to revoke bond on those existing charges. But like I said, I'll go over everybody's charges with them. And the first case is page 18, Howell Emmanuel Donaldson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Julianne Holt on behalf of Mr. Donaldson, together with Jennifer Spradley, Dana Percy Folgera, and Chuck Trena, who is physically with our client. We have this morning provided to the clerk an application for criminal indigent status where Mr. Donaldson is seeking the appointment of our office, and we are also advising the court at this time that Mr. Donaldson has also signed an invocation of rights form for his constitutional rights. And so if the court could look at the affidavit of indigency, you would see that we believe that he qualifies for our services, especially in light of what the charges are.
Okay, so I will appoint your office to represent him. And for the record, he is present at the jail, right?
He is, Judge.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
He is, Judge. I'm Chuck Trena with the Public Defender's Office. I'm standing next to Mr. Donaldson right now, and he's present, and he's reviewed these documents with me.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Donaldson, you're charged with 4 counts of murder in the first degree, premeditated, and currently there's no bond on any of your 4 counts. State?
Good morning, Your Honor. State Attorney Andrew Warren, Assistant State Attorneys Scott Harmon and Jay Pruner on behalf of the state of Florida. This morning I have filed in open court with the clerk a motion for pretrial detention. We will e-file that motion later this morning. At this time, or at the appropriate time this morning, I would ask Your Honor, pursuant to the Rule 3.132, to make the appropriate findings that the motion is facially sufficient, that there exists probable cause to establish that this defendant has committed these 4 murders as alleged in the criminal report affidavit, and we would ask, if the court makes those findings, to hold this defendant without bond pending resolution of the hearing on the motion for pretrial detention.
Ms. Earl? Judge, we've had an opportunity to review the criminal report affidavits, and at this time we believe that if you set the hearing for Tuesday, as we previously discussed, we'll be prepared to proceed at that time.
Okay, so I do find that the motion for pretrial detention is facially sufficient, that there's probable cause to hold you, Mr. Donaldson, until we have this hearing, and I'm going to hold you without bond until the hearing. So let me just explain that to you real quick, Mr. Donaldson, what has happened, okay? The State Attorney's Office has filed a motion asking that you be held without bond until we have a hearing to determine whether or not you should be held without bond, and they have 5 days to have that hearing. And they filed that motion, and I do find that it's facially sufficient and that there's probable cause to do that. So we'll have the hearing to determine whether or not you will be held without bond, pretrial detained, for the rest, or for the duration of the pending of these cases on Tuesday, which is December the December the 5th, Tuesday, December the 5th at 10 o'clock. So between now and that time, you're going to be held without bond. I encourage you to talk to your attorneys. You have excellent ones representing you, okay? And so this one will be held without bond until Tuesday, 10 o'clock. Thank you, Counsel.
Thank you. And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Also follow us on the usual media for more interesting information like this.
Fight their asses.